go on in. There's a PTA table. There's school maps right on the corner. Okay.
We are so excited to be opening a new elementary school. And we have very proudly named this the William B. Gibbs Junior Elementary School.
Because we're going to be going to different classes every day.
It's going to be a very successful year with high-quality instruction, with a very, very effective staff.
This elementary school is going to really be state-of-the-art. It is going to have state-of-the-art data and voice and other capabilities, both for use in the classroom and for the administrators in terms of being able to monitor the building.
Every classroom, pre-K through 5th grade, will have a Promethean board, will be wireless, and teachers will have individual voicemail.
This is going to be a wonderful opportunity for students. They will be able to learn so much more and have many more hands-on things to do with technology.
And when you push your button, it'll tell me up on the big screen what button you pushed. Isn't that cool?
Very high tech.
Then they're very excited to use the ActiVotes, which come with the Prometheans, where it's a very quick every pupil response for a teacher to see how many of the students got the concept, how many didn't.
And with the new school comes a new opportunity for a wonderful and new learning environment and a learning community.
The history of Mr. Gibbs in this county is really very important, and we know that the students will be hearing about it, and the community is aware of it now, and we are going to keep that message out there, that he worked very hard to make sure that teachers got their rights.
Well, I learned about William Gibbs from the community. He had been the teacher principal at the Rockville Colored Elementary School, and he really took on the cause of differential pay. So this happened in 1936, and African-American teachers were being paid literally half the annual salary of white teachers.
We had never had equal salaries. We had to do equal work. We had to teach equal curriculum. We had to meet equal educational requirements by the state of Maryland, but we didn't get equal money.
They had tried for years and years to change this through the legislative process, and they finally, the Black Teachers Association went to the NAACP and they decided to go to court. Then they needed a plaintiff. They needed a perfect candidate, someone whose credentials were in order and someone who had an impeccable reputation, and he seemed to fit the bill.
Thurgood Marshall was part of this because he was one of the attorneys that sued for equalization of pay. 5 families in Rockville put their homes up for mortgage so that they would have the funds to pay these lawyers, Thurgood Marshall being one of them. And Sharon Duffin's family was one of the families that put the money up for this case.
The school superintendent, whose name was Edward Broom, met with the judge and with Marshall, and they came to an agreement. And the agreement was to settle out of court and equalize the salaries.
By 1938, 50% of the differential in pay was being made up, and a year later, African-American teachers were being paid the same as white teachers. But Mr. Gibbs did not get the benefit of enjoying the fruits of his labor, because on a technicality involved in his principal certificate, he was ultimately fired, no doubt in retaliation for having been the one to bring this issue forward.
I think he was let go because there was a very deep-seated feeling at that time that teachers should not be activists and should not get involved in political, social issues. I think that was a very strong attitude that seemed to be pervasive for both white and black teachers at the time.
This was really a community effort. Through the Lincoln Park Historical Society and through the efforts of many of the people who knew and worked with Mr. Gibbs, including Nina Clark and others, they really felt that it was important for us as a community to stand up and remember this historical moment.
You know, he would say, don't give up, and the secret to wherever you're going or where you want to go is education.
Mr. Gibbs was a very quiet man. He didn't force himself on anybody, but he was a brave man, I thought.
He was a role model. He certainly inspired people as a teacher.
I remember him saying, do what you can for yourself and believe in yourself.
And he would keep you going or keep you thinking, or it just stimulated your mind and made you feel like you wanted to learn or to know.
When he would talk to you, he was very forceful about education. That was the main story. Get an education. This is all about stay in school, do good.
Naming the school for William Gibbs is also an honor to the citizens at that time, who were very much supportive of getting their children a decent education.
It was really touching for the Board of Education to have members of the community who had worked with Mr. Gibbs, who remembered Mr. Gibbs, who came and spoke from the heart with the sincerity of having personally lived through this time, who felt this was critical for us to memorialize and tribute his incredible courage in the name of a school, for us to be able to bring that to fruition while those with firsthand experience were still around to appreciate it.
The story needed to be told before there was no one who could tell it. And we set out to find the documentation. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And now that the Thurgood Marshall's papers are available in the Library of Congress, that's opened up a good deal more information.
I will say to all teachers that Mr. Gibbs was a very important person in this school system, and you should read about him and know about him and know that he laid a foundation for you to be where you are and to be what you can be.
When we think about Brown versus Board of Education, we have to understand Mr. William Gibbs as one of the major first steps towards that 1954 school desegregation decision. I think Mr. Gibbs is a civil rights hero.
There's a lot in a name, and naming this school for William B. Gibbs Jr. is a way of saying to students he's a role model, where now students might think it's crazy for a black teacher to be paid differently than a white teacher, to understand that not long ago that's the way it was. But it took people of courage and commitment to stand up and challenge, and our students should have respect for the shoulders that they're standing on. They should take it as an inspiration that when they see injustice and unfairness, they should have the courage and commitment to stand up, and to know that people standing together of good mind and good faith can make a real difference.